Hey, good morning. Happy Sunday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and early, 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, today I kept going back and forth between what I wanted to talk about today. Initially, I wanted to talk about Joe Rogan. This is the second video he made now. Now he's apologizing for saying the N word. And I got a lot of strong feelings on that. A lot of times, again, I use empathy. Then I started looking into, there was all the hubbub about Kinzinger and Cheney being censured by the GOP. And, it looks a little boring, this whole GOP and censure, those words sound kind of boring, so I didn't know if I wanted to talk about it. And then I read the actual piece put out by the GOP, and it blew my mind. That they call this legitimate political discourse. It's like, how did you go from everything we saw on January 6th, and then now, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a spouse that got caught cheating. And the next day, say the wife came across videos, all these terrible X-rated videos of their spouse, or either way, husband or wife, found these videos of their spouse cheating. And the spouse is like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so disgusting. I just take me back. I promise I'll never do it again." And then, maybe about, I don't know, say a year later, that person that was cheating, it has changed the whole narrative to, "Look, I just needed somebody to talk to. That person listened to me. That's all it was. It was just about having somebody to talk to. That's all it was." So it went from disgusting, just pure X-rated videos to, "Hey, it was just, I just needed somebody to share my feelings with." And they actually convinced themselves of this, and they actually can argue that point. And then the other person, I guess this is what you call gaslighting. Anyway, back to Rogan. I gotta go back to Rogan. Okay, first of all, the video I did about a little less than a week ago, the first video that came out, how many times is Joe Rogan gonna apologize? The first one he did, I was too easy on him. I fell for it, and I admit it now. I didn't say I liked him or anything, but I said he sounded, to me, he was saying the right things, and I believed him because I put myself in his position. And I was like, well, that's what I might say. But then when I watched this video, this is the second video now, where he comes out. Now, there's a compilation where India Ari, I think India.Ari, I'll be honest with you guys, I have no idea who this artist is, but there's a compilation of Rogan, I think 12 times, 12 different takes from Rogan's podcast, 12 over the last 12 years of Rogan saying the N word. And okay, so then Rogan just comes out with another apology video. And he sounds just like he did last time. Like, he sounds very contrite and very, apologetic. And oh my God, it sounds terrible. I'm being taken out of context, but oh my God, I look terrible and I'm so sorry, and all this other stuff. So much so that Dwayne Johnson actually believed it and said, "Good for you, brother." But then, I started thinking about myself and that word, using empathy again. That word was like a swear. I have never heard my father passed away when I was 9, but my mother, I've never heard my mother say the F word ever in my life. I've never heard her say that word. The N word was like that in our house. It was totally off limits. I'd get smacked if I said it. It not just because somebody might hear or how it looked. It was the wrong thing to say. As I grew up, as I saw the whole history, we all know the history behind that word. Now I started thinking about Joe Rogan and his apology, and he says he says it was taken out of context. He was just trying to point out how one race of people could say that word and use it as a greeting, and he lists about 6 different things, but he says it's the only word, he makes it all amazing, like this, it's the word is just so amazing, and he was amazed by the word. And I really started thinking about that. What a load of BS. I remember one day, I don't know why or how, but I was sitting in my apartment, not this one, and I was thinking about that word. I heard it on TV or something. And because it was off limits when I learned what the word was for, and it was just, you don't say that. It's almost evil. It's like cursing God. That's how I grew up feeling. It's or something. It's an evil. And then once you see all what was behind that word, that's how I looked at it. And I started thinking, would I ever say that word here in my videos? Never. And then, like I said, I was sitting in an apartment by myself, and I heard it on TV. And for some reason, I started thinking, would I say that word just sitting here by myself, where just say it out loud, blam, that word? No, I wouldn't do that. It feels like it's invoking something evil. It feel like I'm trying to get away with something. That's the only way I could put it. So I started thinking about that, and then Joe and Rogan kind of using this excuse. And the more I thought about it, throughout my lifetime, I've heard people say this over and over and over again. People that get caught out, Caucasian people or other, getting caught out saying this word, and they use that as a defense. Well, they can say it. How come we can? It's reverse prejudice. How come they can say it? We can't say it. It's a word. Why can't we say it? Damn well, it's more than a word. It's the embodiment of evil. And yeah, it's a very rare word in the English language, but I think there's other words, other hateful, vicious words that I can't say that might represent Jewish people or Asian people. So I think Rogan was off base. Oh, it's the only word in the whole English language that one race of people can say. No, these words pack a punch. They're more than words. They're more than just the letters that they're made up of. They're the embodiment of an evil idea that one particular bunch of human beings is above and better than and more deserving than another group of people, or say Native Americans. There's words out there that I won't say that make Native Americans seem inhuman. Once you start, it's more than a word, because you're dehumanizing people. So as I watched this Joe Rogan video, at first I was almost snowed again. I was almost like, wow, he really means this. He was taken out of context. But then, like I said, I put myself in that position, and I would never even say that. It would almost feel, if I even just said that word sitting here all by myself, it would feel like I'm saying something dirty and evil, like something against God, something. The only thing I can think of is something incestuous or something just disgusting and dirty and wrong. That's the only thing I can think of to compare it to. It sounds a little weird. Now, one more point I want to make. Just because somebody doesn't say that word does not make them automatically not a racist. Because growing up, I was around a lot of people, not my close relatives, but other people I was around when I was younger that did think less of black people. And they were scared. They were terrified to say that word because somebody would hear them and they get ratted out and they get beat up. But they were, make no doubt, I knew they were racist. So you really can't tell. The word is more than a word. It's the embodiment of an evil idea. It's more than just 6 letters. 5 or 6 letters, depends how you say it. But still, That's another scapegoat right there, another excuse right there. Where if you take off that one last letter, well, it's a whole different connotation. No, it's not. There's no complaining. You know, if somebody, whatever color, feels comfortable or wants to use that word, then it's on them. It's just, then they're going to have to explain it. It's, I don't know how to say it any better than that. So Joe Rogan, I am not falling for it again this time. I would never say that. I would never say it. I wouldn't even say it sitting alone by myself, where I'm the only one that could hear it, because it's more than just a word. You guys have a great Sunday. I'll be back later where I could talk about that censure, the whole censure thing, and Liz Cheney and Kinzinger. Have a great Sunday.